He insulted everybody in that room. And I said, somebody should run against John McCain, who has been, you know, in my opinion, not so hot. And I supported him. I supported him for president. I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
He's a war hero.
As a veteran who served for 20 years and 28 days during Desert Shield, Desert Storm, the Gulf War, and the Iraq War, retired honorably, and have upheld my oath every day since September 30th, 2006, my retirement day. But on this day, a fucking treasonous traitor who tried to overthrow the government on January 6th, 2021, a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, liable for fraud, degenerate, misogynistic pig, lying grifter who pushed Bibles and now pushing books about bullshit, was allowed to go to Arlington National Cemetery on no special day and lay a wreath. What the fuck and who in the fuck allowed this motherfucker to do that shit and defecate on our fallen soldiers that are buried there? You heard what I said, defecate. And you motherfucking maggot motherfucking veterans that are okay with this treasonous traitor, as I said, your fucking service means nothing, because the oath that I took and the fucking oath that you took, you shitted on. But I want to know who the fuck allowed this motherfucker to go today and lay this wreath for a fucking photo op at the expense of our fallen brothers and sisters. You fucking right, I'm pissed off. This motherfucker has no fucking low. Fuck every single motherfucker that walks this fucking planet that supports this rotten motherfucker.
I can honestly look you in the eye, hand on heart. This is single-handedly one of the worst stories I think I've ever heard about any American political administration, group of politicians, political party, individual politicians, anybody in the environment of American politics. The altercation at Arlington Cemetery is just... It was pretty bad this Thursday. Then you begin to hear some of the other ramifications. It was a female vet that was attacked, assaulted by a couple of Trump staff just to make a TikTok video. And here's some of the disgusting fallout. First of all, obviously the Trump echo chamber via people on social media, spreading it, whatever forms of spreading the message they have, are trying to say, it's not true, they're making it all up, it's not true, it's not, all of that stuff. And second of all, and this is, I can't even believe I'm saying this, the female veteran that was attacked by two members of Trump's staff, this is somebody that's laid their life down so that we can be free. This is somebody that's gone to... I can't believe I'm saying this. She's fearing for her life from the MAGA setup, the Trump nut jobs. She's scared to say anything. She's had death threats. What is going on? How is it you have the situation that your Alex Joneses, your Charlie Kirks, all of these loudmouths, etc., they're allowed to say what they like, put out all types of nasty comments. There were loads of them. Megyn Kelly, it doesn't stop. Yet somebody wants to tell the truth. A veteran who served her country, attacked by two men from Trump's setup, and now fears for her life.
You're reporting this hour on new reaction to that TikTok we just showed. Tell us more about what you're learning. Right. So, Pam, my colleagues and I have reporting from another family that has a soldier buried in that section 60, which is a very restricted section. It is for people, for soldiers who died after serving in Iraq and Afghanistan for the most part. This is a family who the soldier in question, he was a master sergeant, Andrew Marcasano. He died by suicide in 2020, and he had served multiple tours, combat tours, including in Afghanistan, but not only. And his gravesite was caught in pictures as Trump was posing with the gravesite of another sergeant at the same section. Now, that other sergeant's family had indeed said they would like Trump there. As you noted, these Gold Star families welcomed him. As you also noted, the rules of the cemetery are that campaign photography, campaign filming is not permitted, photographs that are going to be used for election purposes. And the Marcasano family certainly was not contacted or asked for this, but his gravestone is now in that TikTok video from behind that Trump posted on TikTok. He's also, the front of the gravesite with his name is in pictures that were posted online with Trump posing with a thumbs up. And, they were very clear, the family, in a statement to us that they really support this other family and other families that lost people in the Abbey Gate bombing in Kabul in Afghanistan, but that this is a restricted area and that they would hope that everyone would be respectful of that. It was a restrained statement, but it was very clearly displeased.
Yeah. And what is the Trump campaign saying to this family, to your reporting?
When we asked them to respond, they would not directly address what the family said. When asked about the TikTok video, they wouldn't address whether they would continue using the gravestone images, just saying something to the effect of, we continue to honor the wishes of the Gold Star families who supported him, former President Trump, being there, which, again, their families are not a monolith. When it comes to military families, when it comes to families connected to any tragedy, people don't see things the same. The broader issue here is there is a federal law in place, and so far the Trump campaign has yet to provide documentation of its claim that it was permitted to do this, and there was an agreement.
Right, because Trump's team is suggesting that they actually have video to prove what they say happened. Right. Why not release it?
I'd like them to. I hope they would release it. They should release it. They have videos suggesting this shows that the confrontation is not as described. They've claimed that they had permission to be there. There is nothing to support that. I want to add one other note, Pam, that was important from our story tonight, which is that we had reporting that the official in question at Arlington Cemetery, she had filed a report, but then she declined to press charges, and military officials said that she was afraid that she was going to be retaliated against by Trump supporters. It's worth noting that the Trump campaign targeted her, suggesting she was having a mental health episode.
We were ticking through earlier in the show the long list of times where Donald Trump has indeed denigrated the service of others, including those who have given their lives for the country. And as you see it, he did it again this week.
Well, this is the great paradox of Donald Trump. His own record of non-service is of course, well documented. But so is this long record of denigrating the service of others and his contempt. And yet he continues to wrap himself as the champion of the military. And many veterans seem to think that he is an ally of the military. But you walk through. You look at this picture that you're showing right now. I mean, there's something deeply unnatural about this. Who posing with a thumbs up in front of the grave of a fallen soldier? Who does that? Somebody who, frankly, just does not understand what the sacrifice means. And you go back through whether it's the attack on John McCain for being a POW, or his suggestion at one point that he did not want disabled veterans to be in an Independence Day military parade because it would make him look bad, or his comments to his former chief of staff, retired General John Kelly, when they went to Arlington in 2017, and they're standing next to John Kelly's son, Robert, who was a lieutenant who was killed in Afghanistan. And Donald Trump said to General Kelly, "I don't understand why they do this. What's in it for them?" Or when he refused to go to the military cemetery in France, calling them losers and suckers. And, for people who've been around Donald Trump, this continues to be shocking, that someone who is the commander in chief just does not seem, at some core of his being, does not seem to understand why people give their lives for their country. And again, you want to talk about cognitive dissonance. This is a man who, wants to be thought of as America first, USA, the defender of American strength. And yet when it comes down to it, time and again, whether it's Gold Star families, whether it's Medal of Honor winners, there's something broken in Donald Trump that makes it impossible for him to understand that kind of sacrifice and heroism.
You kind of realise what you're dealing with these two clips. There was a guy on Fox News who hardly covered this altercation at all, who describes it as, in his own words, nothing important. And you would think that maybe somebody within the Trump setup would think that attacking a female is just not on. But, the way they see it is, doesn't matter who you are, they'll attack you because Trump gets attacked himself.
This is honoring the families, and I think they're taking the eye off the ball of what they're talking about on a desktop, which nobody really saw.
Jason, I also want to ask you about something else that we saw from your boss, Mr. Trump. He posted reposted a pretty crude image or comment, I should say, about Kamala Harris, the sitting vice president. It also mentioned Hillary Clinton, who, of course, Mr. Trump ran against in 2016. What would you say to the vice president of the United States about the comment that he reposted?
Well, I saw the social media post. I have not discussed that with the president. I don't know if the president even saw the comment that was on there or simply the picture. But I would say with regard to Kamala Harris, the attacks that have been levied by Kamala Harris's, both the campaign, by Harris allies against President Trump, not just recently, but over the past year and a half, 2 years, ever since he came down the escalator, quite frankly, in the case of many left of center people, have been quite horrific. All of this, though, Casey, is a distraction for the real issues that are going on right now.
What was reposted? I mean,
100 times worse, Casey, 100 times worse. And here's the thing. There's social media posts.
But they haven't
we're
been
talking
sexual
about issues
in nature in this way.
Again, I haven't discussed that with the president. I don't know if the president even saw the comment that was on there. That's not something that I have asked. But we have real people who are struggling with inflation that is hurting this country, with the border crisis. President Trump was just at the border this past week, honoring those who've been killed by this migrant invasion. Jocelyn Nungary and Rachel Moore and Laken Riley, three names I do not believe we'll hear from Kamala Harris at the debate on the 10th. That's assuming that Kamala Harris shows up to the debate, which I imagine that she will, because Americans deserve to hear why Kamala Harris has been in hiding for 39 days. Of course, we'll hear from Kamala Harris and Tim Walz when they sit down with Dana to air this evening on CNN. And look, Dana's one of the best in the business, if not the best in the business. I don't think Dana will allow Kamala Harris to hide behind Tim Walz. I think Dana will ask Kamala Harris why she thinks she deserves a promotion and why she hasn't done any of the things over the past 3.5 years that she says that she'll do in the future.